here after practice number 12. Dog days of summer continue here. We weren't able to quite get the guys we wanted to interview after practice, but did have a chance.
Requested the same two as yesterday and got for again. So I'm going to stop requesting those two guys. I don't need to reveal who they are, but I'm going to stop requesting those two guys.
We did get a chance to talk to Darian Hagan.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot separating those running backs right now. And he talked about with this group of freshmen and sophomores that he realizes he's got to coach them with kid gloves, just like he was coached when he was a freshman here by Gary Barnett.
Yeah, he was asked about how you coach these guys differently than having Phil Lindsay or Trayvon McMillan, and he mentioned you could really coach those guys hard and get on them because they had been through the fire. He goes, but with those guys, he goes, you can coach them harder than the young guys would say, okay, that's how it is. But with all these young guys, he goes, they haven't been through it yet, so you've got to kind of, because you can be demanding, but you can't really be hard on him like he was with those other two guys. And I think that's a good approach. I mean, eventually he'll get to that point, but certainly it sounds like it's working. He mentioned that today was probably the best, not probably, he said it was the best camp practice that group has had all of fall camp. So it's working so far. That group has come along, and there's not a whole lot of separation, but he mentioned 5-6 guys that he feels confident in. That includes Chase Sanders, the walk-on, if you go to 6. So he likes the group.
And he mentioned Jaron Mangum. He challenged him before this practice because at times being an 18-year-old freshman, he loses focus a little bit. Yeah. We also heard Mel Tucker say an emphasis to this team was, hey, we're not going to be talking back to the opponents. There's no music in here during practice. It's very much a professional vibe that this coaching staff is trying to set forth here. Yeah,
and he was actually asked to follow up, Tucker was about, why is it that you don't want you guys talking to the opponent? And he said, that's not what good teams do. And because there's no need to trash talk your opponent. Good teams don't do that. And so he views this, I mean, we obviously know where he came from. He came from, a couple places that win a lot of football games, and they're very good teams around this country, Georgia and Alabama. I think he wants to bring that type of professionalism to Colorado, and it goes with no music and no trash talk and things like that.
They needed some depth to emerge at cornerback. It sounds like that's happening. KJ Trujillo has strung together some good practices, and he gets excited when he talks about Tariq Luckett, who just moved over to cornerback from receiver last week, and said he doesn't even know what he's doing, but he's out there making plays.
Yeah, and he actually made a joke, Tucker did, that he goes, I just hope we don't coach him down, because he's making some good plays right now, and I don't want to coach that out of him. But he said Tariq Luckett shows up almost every day making some plays, so that's great to hear because the Buffs, we know about the 3 veteran corners. There's been some injuries there with Mackay and Delrick Abrams and Chris Miller, but they need depth there. And if you've got Trujillo and Tariq Luckett stepping up, DJ Oates is the other freshman that very new to the position you've mentioned before. It would be nice if Luckett and KJ are the guys to step up so that a guy like DJ can maybe redshirt and take some time to develop. He seems like he needs more development than those other guys. Not that he can't do it. I think eventually he might be able to, but he might need more development. So it's a positive thing to see Tariq Luckett and KJ stepping up.
We were able to get confirmation that Vatofu Salveo, hope I didn't just butcher that, has made a move from offensive line to defensive line. They need bodies over there. He talked about him being stout and made a comment that no one on this football team loves the game more than Salveo does, so it'll be interesting. We're gonna have to wait and see if that actually transforms him into being a guy that's part of the rotation.
Yeah, and it's interesting. He mentioned he wanted to go over there. I mean, this is a kid that was recruited just a few months ago as an offensive lineman, and it just didn't sound like he was going to get any playing time there. And in talking to Coach Kapovlich, he never mentioned Salvo, and then I would ask and say, well, he's a little bit behind some of the other guys. So I think, Salvo probably saw that and thought, well, they might need me more on the defensive line. He can maybe help them. And we haven't, throughout this camp, we've heard a lot about those freshman defensive linemen, but, I haven't heard a whole lot about the JUCO kids, Doss and Janaz Jordan. Haven't heard about those guys, so I don't know how they're coming along. So bringing in another JUCO kid, a veteran guy like Salvo, maybe that gives us some more depth there. But certainly if he can translate it, that it's going to help, but we'll see.
We're kind of halfway through it when you consider that there's going to be some days where there's no media availability.
Yeah.
Brian, are you hanging in there?
I'm hanging in there. I'm doing okay. I mean, it's back-to-back days of not getting the guys that you request is a little tough, but, I'm pushing through.
You got to battle through that adversity, Brian, and I think that's what we're doing right now.
We're battling through, but, yesterday was a nice little bonus. We got Daniel Arias off to the side. He was the last one here yesterday. We got to chat with him, and just a humble, nice young man. We talked to him yesterday. He was the last one off the field again today, and there's a couple bonuses there.
All right, we'll be back with more analysis on Thursday.